They're not little.
No, those.
The one who is the most high, higher than everything else, and from whom all highness is found. So with that.
Hi, my loves. Ramadan Mubarak to everybody practicing. I hope it has been a beautiful month. I cannot believe we are about to enter the 27th night and day. Like, I honestly blinked and the end of Ramadan is here. I think this Ramadan has been overall challenging in so many different ways. And the first few weeks just threw me off in particular because I spent literally the first 2 days of Ramadan moving. So I'm in a new space, which is exciting, but don't recommend doing that in the first 2 days of Ramadan because it completely throws you off. And then I started my cycle, which lasted 8 days. And no matter what anybody says, yes, we can perform ibadah while on our cycle, but like it's just not the same. Like it's not the same. And I literally had so many different mental breakdowns, but alhamdulillah, there's like wisdom in everything that Allah does. So not complaining there, but after that, the war on Iran started, the genocide in Gaza is ongoing, and that has just taken such an emotional toll on me naturally. I mean, I would be concerned if I wasn't. But honestly, the last few weeks have felt like the first month of the genocide in Gaza. Like, it just feels like it keeps getting worse and worse. I don't know. I just found myself questioning, like, Ya Allah, when is like, astaghfirullah, not to question God, but like, when is divine intervention going to hold these oppressors accountable? Like, there's just so much oppression going on in the world. When are these people going to be held accountable? And I had to stop myself because obviously, like, his intervention is happening in ways that we cannot comprehend as human beings. But if you follow me on TikTok and Instagram, you know that I've been learning or like leaning into the 99 names of Allah, much like everybody else this Ramadan, Umam Umar Sulaiman series and so on and so forth. But my journaling has been centered around the 99 names of Allah for this month. And subhanAllah, yesterday, like after having yet another mental breakdown, the card that I pulled was Ya Mateen, which is like the firm one, the steadfast, the one with extreme, unshakable power. And what I do is I also look up the names like beyond the card that I pull and I like look into them a little bit more. And so I came across this video, and one example that it gave was that when the state of the world becomes too heavy, overwhelming, and feels unjust, for you to stay rooted in the belief that Allah is the best of all planners and that literally nobody can escape his plans for justice, even if you as a human being cannot see it. And so it recommended like invoking Ya Mateen in those moments when you feel like, oh my gosh, like when is justice going to prevail? When are these people going to be held accountable? Ya Mateen is going to do it, if not already. Like, again, we are so limited in our beliefs about like how Allah moves amongst the world and like just the power that he has that we can't really comprehend how he's already holding accountability, and like justice is not going to escape anybody so long as Allah exists. He's the all powerful and the unshakable. And so that honestly brought me a lot of peace. Like the thing that has been grounding me the most this Ramadan is the 99 names of Allah. And like, subhanAllah, it's so crazy. It just feels like it's this huge theme that's ongoing for everybody right now. So yeah, it's been like rough. And then on top of that, this is my fifth Ramadan living alone and like not with my family. And that has been really, really, really difficult. I feel like this one has been the hardest, like even harder than my first Ramadan alone. And I think it's so layered because of what's happening. I was supposed to be in Qatar with my mom. I was supposed to leave a couple of days ago, and then my flight got canceled because of the war. And so it's just been rough. And again, there's wisdom behind everything, but like I feel like every year that passes me by, I am just more and more cognizant and appreciative of like family and collectiveness. And truly, I feel like until it escapes you and you don't have it in the same way that you used to, you don't really appreciate it. Even if you don't take it for advantage per se, still don't like comprehend the weight of having like a familiar structure that you can lean on and be in company with, even in the most mundane moments. As I was reflecting in the last few days, I was so emotional. Like, I couldn't do anything without crying because I just want to be with my family. But I was thinking back to the pandemic, and I know this is like a period of life that probably most people don't want to think about, don't want to return to, like, don't want to be nostalgic about. But subhanallah, for me, I'm so nostalgic about lockdown. And I think there was so much wisdom behind me being where I was when lockdown happened. And I had just started grad school when lockdown happened. For those of you who don't know, I studied international human rights for grad school. So I got my master's in international human rights. And the program that I went to was a quarter system. So my first quarter's finals, so like the week of finals, was the first week of lockdown. And I was living at home at the time. I was doing school full time. Had a job full time, and I had a fellowship. So it like was a lot. And when I think back, little did I know that literally a year and a half later, I would be moving across the country from my family. But that Ramadan and lockdown was one of the most special Ramadans I had ever experienced. Like, me and my family did everything together. All of my siblings were at home. My parents were at home, alhamdulillah. We had dinner together every single night without fail. We prayed together. We prayed Taraweeh together. My dad led. Um, One thing about my dad is ever since I was a little girl, he would always tell us stories about the Prophet. And so, like, after iftar, we would just sit there for 30 minutes and he would be telling us stories. Still, that Ramadan, like, I would be sitting in the living room while my parents did their own thing. And, like, I journaled between my parents while they did their own thing and I did mine. And every morning I would start work in classes and my mom would come in every single morning without fail. Um, Before and after Ramadan, of course, but with coffee and like avocado toast or fruit or some sort of breakfast. And even in Ramadan, when I was on my cycle, even if she was fasting, she would do the same thing. And so when I think back to that Ramadan, it makes me want to cry. It makes me so emotional because, like, the wisdom, like, God gave me the biggest blessing ever to be able to have that Ramadan with my whole family under one roof for 30 days consecutively, because a year and a half later, I had no idea that I would be moving across the country for a job. And so this Ramadan, I've been thinking about that a lot. And I'm like, oh my gosh, even though I appreciated it at the time, I didn't realize how big of a blessing it was. And so now it just like lingers with me and I think about it all the time and it makes me so emotional, as you can tell. So, anyways, if you are surrounded by family, whether you live in the same house as them or you're in near proximity of them, do not take them for granted. Call them as much as possible, see them as much as possible, hug them as much as possible. Do not take any opportunity to have dinner with them and be gathered with them for granted, because wallahi, the day that it becomes harder for all of you to be in the same room, it's like one of the biggest heartbreaks. Oh, sorry guys, I didn't realize how emotional this video was going to be, but honestly, I'm just going to be raw and vulnerable because that's exactly how this Ramadan has been. I've just been a ball of emotion. With that being said, do not take anything for granted. All of the mundane moments, like, genuinely just immerse yourself in them and be so present. And, like, subhanallah, that's why there's so much wisdom, even Islamically, about not dwelling too much on the past and not over consuming yourself with what the future is going to look like, because the present escapes you so quickly. And just like passes you by, and you don't want to regret not having been present enough and genuinely taking advantage of the moments that you have. So yeah, that is how Ramadan has been. But on a more positive note, alhamdulillah, this has also been a very like eye-opening Ramadan, and I've been thinking a lot about my last Ramadan. The last 2 years prior to this Ramadan, like I've had a very strict Ramadan routine, and I felt most in touch with Allah, and my like I feel like I really came to understand what it means to practice Ramadan at its core. And last year I was going through a really, really difficult time. And so I forced myself to make du'as that I was afraid of making before. And so when this Ramadan started, I was like reflecting, I was like, SubhanAllah, like I am living in my answered du'as. But the thing is, number one, we are so limited as human beings in the way that we think about dua and make dua, because I think it's very easy to humanize God and not think about the fact and not remember the fact that He is like the most exalted, like He is God, He is the most divine, He is like everything and in control of everything. And so when we ask Him for things, sometimes I feel like collectively, like all of us probably have experienced this at some point or another, but we make dua with like a sense of doubt, like, Ya Allah, if you can do this for me, He can do it for you and more than your like wildest dreams and imaginations. Like, He can make anything happen. If He can make like the world split in half for somebody, He can surely answer our du'as. But second, I think the way that we also think about du'as, like we think about our du'as being answered as in like receiving exactly what we want. And this past year, I learned like it might have not been what I wanted, um, but it was the best for me. And when you can accept like God's plans for you and accept that like He knows so much better than you do what is best for you, the easier your life becomes. And so I found myself just being reflective and thankful over the fact that like I am living in my answered du'as, and it might not be what I expected, but honestly, in a lot of ways, it's better than I ever could have imagined or wanted for myself. And so I'm trying to like unlearn this idea that a my du'as have to be exactly what I want them to be, and actually leaving room for like, Ya Allah, this is what I want, but if I deserve more, or if you have a better plan for me, force me to accept it and see it your way, so that like I don't spend so like waste so much time and energy and tears and like heartache wanting something that is not good for me or that is not for me, period. And so, alhamdulillah, I feel so thankful. Like, I feel like I've grown so much. And I was kind of worried at the beginning of Ramadan because I wasn't feeling that, like, same push towards the month that I was in the past 2 years. And one of my friends and I were talking about this because she was also experiencing it. And she was telling me about how one of her friends told her, like, you can't you can't compare like one Ramadan to another, just like how you can't compare one day to another, because you're ever changing. Like the only constant thing in life is change. And so our iman in general is something that fluctuates so regularly, like on a day-to-day basis. One day it might be so easy for me to pray, to wear hijab, to do all these things. The next it might feel like so incredibly difficult. And so like it's the same thing with Ramadan. And I remember journaling about this early on too, and just saying like I was putting so much pressure on myself, but then I was like, it's ever fluctuating. Like I could feel like this today and not feel like my heart is in it. And then tomorrow everything can change and might be overwhelmed with emotion and like feel so connected to Allah. And surely that is what happened. Like the first 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks of Ramadan, I was just not feeling it. I was feeling so disconnected. I was feeling so distracted. Um, I just didn't feel like my heart was in it. And then all of a sudden, I felt more connected to Allah than ever. And like I was really leaning into um, my relationship with Him. So, Alhamdulillah for that. Just Alhamdulillah for everything. Alhamdulillah for this practice. Alhamdulillah for this privilege and blessing of being Muslim and being able to like practice this holy month. And I just pray that Allah continues to bring me closer to Him, that Allah liberates us from every single oppressor on this earth. I cannot believe that there's like less than 4 days left of this month, and may Allah allow us to see the next. And on better terms. May justice prevail, and I hope everybody practicing that you get what you need from this Ramadan, and that we can all walk out of it being the best possible humans that we can be. I'm about to go run some errands. Excuse the apartment. Again, I just moved in here and I'm in a phase where like I hate everything and I cannot wait to redecorate. And I feel like I never fully decorated my spaces. I've lived in 2 apartments before this and I never took it as like a long-term thing, so I didn't feel like I needed to fully decorate to my taste. And obviously taste is like something that's ever changing and your style changes all the time, but I'm gonna take this one seriously. Even if I only stay here a year, like I live here, I spend so much time here, and I want to fill it with things that like reflect me and my taste. So anyways, FYI. But I want to quickly show you my outfit. I've been wearing this for 3 days, I kid you not. I'm a shameless outfit repeater. I think you should all repeat your outfits. That's why you buy your clothes. But anyways, I caved and got this set. If you know me, I love loungewear, and I especially love loungewear, especially because I work from home, so I love sets, but I especially love loungewear that I can like elevate and like dress up and down. So I got this set and it's like a gray color and I have been loving it. I paired it with a abaya and my tabbies, which also, like, I don't know how I feel about them yet. I used to hate them, and then I don't know, over the last few years I've grown into liking them a bit, so I was like, let me try them. I still don't know how I feel about them, but honestly they like go with every outfit, so we're going with it. I just wanted to show you the outfit because I think it's so cute.
وقلنا ما نزل الله من شيء إن أنتم إلا في ضلال كبير.
I just got a package in the mail from one of my friends. My birthday was in February, but she sent me a little birthday present, and I just have to share because I love when my friends actually like see me. I feel like I'm somebody who's very, very like observant, and I like love to pay attention to my friends and everybody that I love, and like be very meticulous about the gifts that I choose for them because I want them to be seen. And so when my friends do that for me, my heart just melts. So I want to share it with you. She was recently in Italy, so she got me this postcard as my birthday card, and exhibit A of knowing me, I love postcards and I love putting them in my memento boxes and journals. So this will be going in there. Palestine Railway like ticket sticker. How freaking cute is that? This is the star of the show though. This freaking mug slot. It's a little bit bigger than an espresso cup, but like how freaking cute is that? It's literally perfect. I can't wait to make some Turkish coffee or like a little cappuccino and put it in this candle, of course, and it's a woodwick one, which is my favorite. She was also in Turkey and she got me sahlab packets. When we were on a trip together in December, I mentioned how much I love sahlab and we were talking about it with her family, and she remembered and she got me sahlab packets from Turkey. She also got me some Turkish coffee olive oil soap. Oh my gosh, it smells divine. It smells so good. It reminds me of the motherland. I will be using this. Last but not least, because she knows I'm a crafty girl, she got me this like little set for Ramadan actually. It's like too late to set it up now, but it'll be perfect for next year. But it's like a little paint set. So you paint these things. They're like little mosque cutouts and whatnot. And then you put them all on here, and then it has a light to turn on. And that is just like the cutest thing ever. I just feel so loved. Oh, she also got me a bookmark, which is so cute. It looks like a prayer mat. I love that. To be loved truly is to be seen, and I am so lucky to be in a period of my life where I have a group of women that genuinely love me and pay attention to me and care about me, and I could not ask for anything better. Alhamdulillah. Before iftar, I made a date paste because I've been craving a date latte. So I'm gonna make a date latte. I'm taking some Maldon salt to make it a salted date latte. Cinnamon. Taste test. Oh my gosh, that is so good. I just realized my face was literally cut off the whole time I was talking, but this turned out so good. 10 out of 10. I like my coffee to be strong and the flavor to be like underlying, not for it to be like a milkshake. There's nothing better than being showered, have your skincare done, make your coffee, and go to Tarawih. Like, it's the best feeling in the world.
Islamic ruling on stock trading, is it permissible to some extent?
الحمد لله الحمد لله عدد خلقه وزنة عرشه الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه الحمد لله ملء السماوات وملء الأراضين وملء ما شئت من شيء بعد الحمد لله حمدا لا يحصى